Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we take a look at every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. I'm Jeff.
I'm Skylar.
And I am Cannibal the Hannibal.
And today we are discussing Series 3, Episode 6, The Lazarus Experiment by Stephen Greenhorn. This episode, interestingly enough, for some reason, I guess partly because he's in it, I thought this was a Mark Gatiss episode. No, he's just in the episode.
Oh, is he nothing... Lazarus?
Yeah, that's Mark Gatiss.
I see. I'm guessing old Lazarus was just makeup?
Yeah, it was just Yeah, which is why I posted in the Doctor Who chat, "Oh God, get Crusty Gatiss off my screen."
It was not the best makeup, honestly.
It was. Yeah. Well, I mean, the makeup. Okay, well, actually, oh my God, guys, it's literally the same fucking old person makeup that they use on 10 at the end of the season. It's literally the same. I just realized that now. It's basically the same fucking thing.
Looks better on Gatiss.
I hate it. I hate it. See, I will say I didn't hate this episode as much as I was expecting to. It's got some issues, but like when it's actually moving, it's not too bad. So we start off with 10 trying desperately to be aloof, even though we all know that he is an extremely clingy bitch.
True facts.
Calling him out there.
Like, come on. Like, we know, like, yes, he had the excuse there because there was the thing on the TV, but we all know he would have come back anyways.
Yeah. He has an episode listing in his TARDIS, so he's just like, damn, it's not the end of the season, I gotta come back.
He was like, damn it, I gotta finish out this contract.
But yeah, Martha has clearly been growing on him, and after this adventure, it's solidified, which is poggers, you know.
Yeah. I will say, I think I would have liked this episode a lot less if it was Rose instead of Donna. Like, yeah.
Oh God, Rose in this episode would be awful.
Yeah.
Oh, I've read the fanfics of it. It's not that much better.
Yeah. I will say I do like how the first character to get murked is the fucking capitalist, the evil, yes, I will sell this technology to make millions of dollars. But first I will become young again.
Doctor Who says anti-white woman action, we stand.
In a video game TOS with a giant CGI scorpion tail.
Also this is the parent meeting episode. I will say it makes sense a little bit more later. I don't really understand at all why Martha's mom is being as antagonistic as she is when she first meets him. Like, from her perspective, yeah. Martha's barely been out of contact for basically only 24 hours, maybe even less. And also, Martha is a fucking adult. Back the fuck off, woman.
Yeah, it makes more sense later in the episode, but at the beginning she's already antagonistic, and I'm literally why?
Yeah.
I literally don't remember what the guy says to her. I don't remember what that whole thing is. I remember it leads to something, but I can't remember what.
It's literally just the guy, I guess, works for Saxon and is oh yeah, the Doctor's dangerous.
All right, cool.
I mean, to be fair, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it
It
does.
makes sense, yeah.
It's
It
just
does tie into stuff later on in the season, but yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like
It was just
to
like,
get
why
to
was he vibing at a party looking for the doctor and a friend? Like, how many people does Saxon have on his payroll that he can just have them like stand
I
around
mean-
at big events hoping the doctor shows up?
Hoping. Avery. Oh no!
What?
Wait, never mind. Never mind. I forgot. Right. The Master couldn't actually use the time machine capabilities of the TARDIS. That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
get
I
wrecked,
was
nerd.
I was yeah. Fuck. Damn it. Shit.
Get
I mean, the Master
destroyed
has
by Thad.
access. The Master has access to a ridiculous amount of resources every time they need to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like,
yeah.
I'm willing to
Actually,
let that go.
yeah. The Master probably would have been like, "Oh yeah, this technology is totally going to turn him into a monster," which means there is a pretty high chance that the Doctor will be there.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, with the mom, it's just kind of like, we need her family, or her mom at least, to go from,
Yeah.
like, point B to C. They just didn't really bother filling out A all the way, but it kind of makes sense with at least, you know, New Who's reboot
Yeah.
of how
Also,
parents
like-
deal with the Doctor.
Also, like, y'all fucking know I'm not the biggest fan of Jackie, but like, Martha's family is, like, the least fleshed out of all of them. Or, if not the least fleshed out, then, like, the least interesting. Because you have the Tylers, which obviously had a lot of focus over 2 seasons. And then you have Wilf and Donna's mother, who, while they didn't get as much focus, just stand out so much more in my memory.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, there's not really much to them. It's just like her. I think this is the only episode where her whole family is in it, and it's very like you don't get much for any of them.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a shame,
her
because the
sister
finale...
is just like,
Go ahead.
yeah, her sister's just kind of a jobber. Her brother's just, I don't know, he's there and he gets hit in the head, and then her mom
Yeah.
is like, no.
Yeah, the
That's
finale
not
showcases
okay.
them off. The finale showcases them off, but it's like... And obviously I feel bad, because that family goes through absolute hell. Especially because they remember everything.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Oh yeah, they get like even fucking worse than like the Tylers. They go through some shit.
Yeah. So it's a shame we don't see
that's
more
a
of
major
them.
rip.
Yeah. Well, I think after that we are introduced to our boy, Crusty Mark Gatiss.
Yeah,
Which-
I mean,
okay.
honestly, the plot of this episode gets given away if you just know where the name Lazarus comes from.
Yeah. Also, there's
to Sunday
there's the other thing that I was gonna say, which is, so here's the thing. This episode falls apart if you ask one simple question, and that question is, why the actual fuck would their first test of it be a public PR event?
Yeah,
Did they not test this on anyone else yet? Like, it's
I
not
was
even...
really thinking about that. Yeah,
Like, it's not even, I don't feel like it's that hard a sell either, because all they had to do is be like, oh yeah, this happened and Lazarus swept it under the rug because he didn't care and he thought he'd fixed it. That's fine. They don't say that. They
Evil
say
is
this is
stupid.
the first test.
and
Why
also,
Why is this
like,
the first test?
and also after it succeeds, or like quote unquote succeeds, he's like, yeah, I don't need any follow up tests. Just look at me, forehead. It's just like, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not
too accurate to
Like,
the
I
scientific process
understand like the mad scientist vibes. That was what they aimed for, and in that case it makes sense. but not at, like, the level that it's at. If it was, like, this one dude alone in his basement, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense that it would be there as their big, like, thingy.
A well-funded, powerful research institution, yeah.
I could see it happening if, like, again, if Saxon is funding this whole thing, and Lazarus isn't the brains, or as much of the brains behind it as he claims he is, that he gets this, like, large help from him, and he's just like, hey, go fuck with this, please. So, I don't know, but yeah, it is a little plot contrivancy, but, you know, stupid evil is stupid, I guess.
Yeah.
Lazarus is not the brightest for someone who figured out how to reverse aging.
Yeah.
There are dumb, smart people.
Hey, that's me.
Nice.
Well, so, yeah, what's next? Oh yeah, also the Doctor gets real snippy with Lazarus. And Martha gets to be cool by being on the same level of the plot as the Doctor. Like, as like, oh yeah, I know where this is going. Which I just feel like that's so epic. This is why
Martha is very quick in this episode. She's just, like, very up with it for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why that's why I like Martha so fucking much, because she's so competent.
Again, like, imagine Rose in this episode. She'd be like hiding in a room screaming.
Yeah.
Well,
or like, you know, she'd do the Martha thing where she runs back to help the Doctor, except she just gets caught and the Doctor has to save her.
Yeah, like,
Series 1 like, Rose would fuck up. Series 2 maybe would do this. Maybe.
Series 2 would get locked in the fucking spinny vape juice, Young of Fire.
The power of vape with its rejuvenating forces. Lazarus simply took the biggest rip ever, and it just reverted him to like
I'm young again, guys.
His genes got so high it unlocked something in him, bro.
Bro, it's like the primal shit, bro. This whole episode is actually just a metaphor for marijuana usage. This is just a very convoluted, this is your brain on drugs ad.
Deep State keeps getting more clever. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Lazarus transforms into a giant beast and starts eating people. The Rock walks onto the screen and crosses his arms. You see, kids, this is your brain on drugs.
Well, we know what to do for Series 13. Let's get them scripts.
Oh, God.
The next season of Doctor Who will just be a very high-budget anti-drug campaign.
God. You heard it here, folks. Chris Chibnall is a narc.
Oh, God.
After that breakthrough.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fucking Lazarus, and he goes young again, and everyone's like, oh my god, big brain dude. And the Doctor's
I feel like Mark Gatiss is actually pretty good in this episode, I think.
Yeah, he sells it pretty well.
Yeah. None of the characters, like, none of this episode specific characters around him are good. Like, the weird, like, white, like, old white capitalist woman sucks. And
Lady Thaw.
Yeah. And I'm, like, absolutely not even, like, oh, cool, awesome. He killed her. Yay, let's go.
And then Martha's sister is just a non-person, like...
Right, but she's a thing outside this episode, so...
Fair.
Like, I just... And other than the thing that like he's like there's a couple weird things with how this episode handles age, of like how he gets de-aged and then he gets like revolted when like this old white woman that he was already in a relationship tries to make out with him, and it's just like you're literally the same person. You are the same mental age, you just look younger. And then the fact that like Tish is like noticeably like weirded out when he makes an advances on her when he's all crusty, but like after he's youngified, I'm just like, bitch, he's literally the same person. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That fucking line about aging. Just like, I know it's a bit weird, but if it's okay for... I forget who she name drops. I was just like, no, honey, like...
Oh, God. Oh, what was it? Oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah. I was just like, Tish, I know you're better than this, and you're somehow, like, super competent
I know it's
and
weird.
Also dumb.
I know it's weird, but I can't remember who. Who is it? Let's see. She is married to... Oh, Michael Douglas. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Whack.
Ants. Let's see. Also, the fact that somehow he's still mutating for some okay, this is... I will admit, this is Doctor Who. Weird, like... Yeah. Weird, like, random bullshit happens. I understand that. But
that's not how DNA works.
That's not how any of this works at all.
It was a little silly for sure. I guess the point is that the DNA got reprogrammed in such a way that it ordered the cells to divide, but then how does he switch back and forth? I don't know. It's science bullshit.
I just what?
Oh, and then I love the part where he basically doesn't, the show basically doesn't nod to the fact that this episode is just like pseudoscience gibberish, where he's like, oh, it shouldn't take me that long to reverse the polarity, which is like, you know, the very typical science bullshit.
No, not the science bullshit, it's the typical Doctor Who bullshit. It was John Pertwee's like go-to piece of technobabble, because he's like, I'm not gonna fucking memorize this bullshit, I'll just say reverse the polarity.
Oh, I thought it was from Star Trek. Honestly, I didn't know.
No, that's a S3E thing.
Whack.
Deepening the lore.
That's funny because now it's just like that. That's literally like the very stereotypical sci-fi technobabble. I have to reverse the polarities.
Yeah, I've heard it in Star Wars stuff. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. Fun facts.
I will say though, back to the I don't know, him transforming, like, yeah, it's dumb and it's very leaning into science fantasy instead of sci-fi. But like, I don't know, if this was like a 13th Doctor episode and like his monster form was all polished, that would just be even weirder
I will
to me.
say the CGI being kind of jank here, actually, I think kind of gives it an edge. Because it looks even more wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking. It's just like, it's very out of place in a way that really helps it. Like, the movements aren't quite right, but in a way that, like, works because it's supposed to not move quite right.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I appreciate that to like this, like the kind of smooth, polished aesthetic. Not that like this era of Doctor Who CGI works all the time, because it definitely fucking doesn't.
No, it did. Yeah, no.
But,
God.
But like in this specific case, I'm just like, way to go, CGI Mark Gatiss. You made me feel something.
So yeah, then they go, yeah, then as I mentioned, Lazarus like hits on Tish again, and since he's all young now. She's like, "Oh yeah, I have absolutely no problem with this whatsoever." Which like, bruh, bruh.
Yeah, it's a bruh.
Um. So yeah, then we get to. I feel like the setup of this episode kind of limps its way to the point where it actually gets good, which is where the action starts up. I will say, even though this episode is kind of uneven, it does not fall into 45-minute syndrome. I feel like it is paced pretty well. Like, just because like the individual like scene writings aren't the best, doesn't mean that it's not like overall paced well. So yeah, I like how Martha gets everyone out by thinking quickly, like taking them to the exit. Okay, there's a security booth. Override the door. Like Martha is so fucking competent this episode, and I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah, like Martha really carries this episode. She just does like a lot of useful stuff.
It is
Like
so baller.
can you imagine the Doctor tossing Rose the Sonic and being like, "Here, use this"? She'd fucking drop it. She'd drop it down a grate or something.
She uses it like once. I mean, it was still very likely, but yeah.
Also, I like how like this is actually like a case where you feel like the Doctor is like actually fucking running for his life and like coming up with a plan as he goes. Because like you have the laboratory thing where he's very quickly improvising, and then the thing where they get trapped in the vape juice canister. Like, yeah, it's really great. Um Also, okay, how do you guys feel about like the total like fake out resolution?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was like I couldn't I actually didn't remember that he comes back. But you know, I looked at the runtime and I'm like, I was definitely like, this ain't over. But I couldn't remember exactly what happened. And honestly, it wasn't built up that much. It just sort of happens
Yeah,
without
it
much
feels.
lead-in.
I'm actually gonna take. It doesn't suffer from 45-minute syndrome, but that pacing does feel kind of off. Where it's like, well, okay, all right, church thing, but how do we get them to the church?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's really what it feels like. It's like, oh, now he's
Like
over
we
here, I
have this,
guess.
we have this scenario, but like we have this scenario, but we don't know how to get everyone there.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily against fake outs like that. I think there's a purpose of kind of slowing things down before picking them back up again, but they don't really use that time to any type of effect at all except for getting C to D. There's the whole like Saxon stuff, but that's like not done brilliantly and you can kind of just shrug it off unless you're looking for it. So, whatever,
It,
I guess.
this was just a very, this was just a very sloppy Chekhov's gun. Like honestly, stares out over the skyline. You see that cathedral that I'm gonna talk to you about for a minute or so? Oh yeah, I do see that cathedral that you're talking to me about. Sure would be funny if that came up again, huh?
Yeah. Uh, I do like the kind of back and forth that Ten has with Lazarus, where Ten's like, no, no, dude, trust me, I'm immortal. It sucks.
He turns up his 10 angst there. Not to full 10 angst, because that comes out way later, but you get a taste of it. It's good stuff.
I mean, Family of Blood is coming up in not too long. But yeah, he's very angsty in this one. He's just like, oh, everyone dies and then you're alone.
That was really good.
That's exactly what he said. He made those noises.
Um. So yeah, then he plays the organ. I remember this being a lot more epic than it actually is. It's literally just he plays the organ so loud he falls over.
I think it was that the thing is sensitive to sound for some reason. Maybe I don't know.
When did they ever I watched the episode. They did like.
I think it's that he was made with like these hypersonic sound waves, so the doctor was like doing hypersonic sound waves back, and that means it damages him somehow. That's what I got. It's not the clearest or the best.
Again, science fantasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Martha's mom is like, "No, he's dangerous." Oh, actually, no. Sorry, that was earlier. That's right. Okay, that's right. They just cut to the okay. Well, let's go have more fun space-time adventures now.
Well, actually, when they're doing that, or right as they leave, she does that again. She calls it like, Martha, no, you must call me back. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The government says he's dangerous,
the
and the
dialogue
government
between
must be trusted.
the doctor and Martha in the last scene is like honestly painful. It's very bad. Like, like he just says okay, and she was supposed to interpret that as yeah, you can come along. Like, bruh.
He's post Rose 10. He's an awkward boy, okay? He's an
awkward
boy.
sensitive boy trying to learn to love again.
God.
Sorry, I couldn't say that. Oh, God. Oh, that hurt. That hurt to say.
Tumblr Jeff, bottom text.
Where's your archives of our own account, Jeff? I don't know. I thought it was like endearingly stupid cute. I don't know.
Yeah.
I found it just painfully cringy. It was just
So yeah, like I expected, I guess to segue into ratings here, unless anybody has anything else they wanted to say real quick.
Nah.
Okay. Yeah. I expected to hate this episode a lot more than I actually did. Like, I feel like once it gets started, it's actually pretty entertaining and not that bad. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, honestly, like, I enjoyed it enough that I'd give it an 8. I think this episode gets, like, over-hate. Like, yes, okay, the plot is kind of dumb and makes no sense, but the monster is interesting, Mark Gatiss is good, and it's fun. Like, yeah, okay, if I was going to, like... And, well, yeah, objectivity is bullshit anyway. I had fun watching it. 8 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I enjoyed this more than I was expecting. I mostly remembered the memes of like how CGI Gatiss looks and everything, but it's a fun ride. You see 10 in the tuxedo, so that's like a little bit something new. Martha is competent. You see more of her family, though not enough. Gatiss is good. I don't know if I prefer him in this role to his Lethbridge Stewart role. We'll have to see. But he's good. The final set piece is like pretty rad, even though it like stumbles getting there. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna agree with the. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. Uh, Also, just as a side thing, because I realized I didn't talk about it, but I was thinking it when I watched it. The chase scene between just the Doctor and Lazarus, like when they're like running through the laboratory and stuff, and all the like lights turning off and on and stuff, and running away. It was very good, like not like intense, but like kind of horror vibes that worked pretty well. I thought it was a good little thriller bit. That
True.
part was very tightly directed. That was probably my favorite part of the episode. I thought that was very tight. Overall, though, I'd say it's one that definitely it's got a lot of good parts. I think the overall plot is kind of weak though, and I think a lot of it is just very 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 silly and contrived. I'd say a 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yupperinos.
Um, so yeah, next week, oh boy, next week we have to talk about a certain first Doctor Who episode by a certain showrunner by the certain name of Chris Chibnall. We gotta talk about 42. I haven't seen 42 in a very long time, so we'll have to see if it's actually better than most of the fucking shit he puts out nowadays.
I remember it being all right, but I last watched it like a shit ton of time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But until then, we'll move on to our next segment. So this week we are talking. Oh, actually, yeah. Content warning for actually, really only I guess like death. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. This is actually probably the tamest Torchwood episode we've talked about. We're talking about Series 1, Episode 9, Random Shoes by Jaquetta May. I really went into this expecting to not like it. Especially, basically forgot this episode almost entirely. And when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh no, this is just going to be Love and Monsters again. But not only do I think that this episode is what Love and Monsters should have been, I really fucking like this episode. I did not expect to like this episode as much as I did.
Yeah. This episode was really, really solid. It was just, it's a really good plot setup that's carried out really well.
It's just a good 50 minutes of television.
It really is. It's just, yeah. It's a very good, like, working backwards sort of mystery. Yeah.
It's able to balance kind of doing, like, the strengths of having an episode away from quote-unquote, like, a normal Torchwood episode, but there's still enough of the Torchwood elements that you're like, yeah, this is still the show I know. It may not be, like, Jack heavy and into, like, his angst or even, like, the general angst of the team, but
and there's no unnecessary gore or fucking.
True.
And also, just I don't know, the character God, I literally can't remember his name for some reason. He's very endearing, like from the start. He's just a fun little boy, and he's kind of cool. And then like just the whole setup with like the eye and stuff, it gives a good sort of, it gives a good sort of plot thread to carry through. It gives like a consistency throughout the episode that you're always coming back to this one set piece. It's just good. It's good. Yeah. Insightful commentary, I know.
Yeah, like honestly, like I was expecting like he can't see her thing to be weird. Like I expected them to go like a lot more uncomfortable with it, but no, actually, he doesn't like follow Gwen around unnecessarily. He only really hangs out with her when she's actively trying to solve his murder.
Yeah, that was very good. This episode definitely could have gone the like, oh, we have to be morally gray, so let's make the guy a fucking creep.
Yeah.
route, and I'm very
Like, he's
glad
just
they did
a
it.
good person.
Yeah.
And, like, I will also say that I think this episode is the first time in this entire revisit that this, like, a piece of Doctor Who media has actually got me to cry.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I also appreciate...
it was during the funeral.
Yeah, no, that hit hard. It got me close. I don't know. Confession, I guess. The only piece of media I've cried at in recent memory would be Inside Out and Toy Story 3. But yeah, this almost came in third. But yeah, I also like how the artifact, like, we've been... Obviously, there's the whole theme of, like, death and, like, what is living and yada, yada, yada. But it was nice to see this artifact deal with that, but the eye yet not be, like, incredibly horrible. That it's like, this serves a function. Like, I could actually see that being a thing of just like, hey, this, this allows you to see, everything, like, leading up to now and, like, having you make peace with it. It's also weird that this kind of confirms there's somewhat of an afterlife. I mean, Doctor Who is, like, wishy-washy on that, so whatever. Doctor Who. Whatever.
Not even this show has been wishy-washy on it. Literally the last episode, Susie was like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the point was that it's only because of the eye that he sticks around. It's like the eye has a special property.
Okay, that could be fair. I don't know.
That's how I was interpreting it.
Yeah. Also, so much of fiction in general, I don't know if this is on purpose, like, at least in recent memory, I know a lot of fiction kind of does the, like, not everybody goes to the same place. And obviously, we're talking about Doctor Who and Torchwood. There's no consistent world building. But, yeah, it's interesting that the show doesn't restrict itself.
Yeah. Also, other thing that I like, the fact that there's no villain, there's no antagonist in this episode. Like, even the shittiest characters in the episode, I guess, with the exception of, like, the guy who worked at the video store, who's just kind of a jackass. But, like, not in, like, a villainous way, just in, like, an actual, like, normal-ass, like, asshole person. Like, he didn't die because of any grand conspiracy, he got hit by a car. And, yeah.
It reminded me of how Danny dies. It's very just, mundane, which is almost like a shock in a universe like this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good stuff.
But also, like, I don't care about Danny.
Well, yeah, me neither. I'm being generous.
Sorry, Moffat, you should have taken a page from Random Shoes. But yeah, no, it's just, it's good. Honestly, actually, legitimately, I think with how much this impressed me and the fact that I can't think of very many flaws at all, I definitely think I might give this Torchwood episode my first 10 out of 10 of Torchwood. Which is weird, because I feel like this episode is slept on. Nobody fucking talks about this episode. Where if they do, it's like, yeah, this episode is just like Love and Monsters, but not as good. Like, I looked it up, and I couldn't really find much.
That's just how it be sometimes.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
why does nobody have taste?
True. Yeah, complete agreement. 10 out of 10. Definitely the highlight. Or maybe not the highlight, but the unexpected gem of the series so far.
The secret standout, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it quite hit me hard enough to be a 10, but it's definitely like a 9, I'd say. Yeah. It's very good.
And yeah, I wouldn't be remiss in saying, yeah, this is the best episode we've seen all season.
Yeah, I might agree with that.
Like, wow. Don't sleep on this one, guys. It's actually really great. Anyways, you can support us on Patreon. We're just on Patreon. You can look it up, Back to the TARDIS, B2 TARDIS Pod. If you support us there, you'll get perks such as listening to the episode live, or getting episodes early, or even potentially being able to join in with us for an episode of your choosing if you pledge $10 or more a month. You'll also get access to bonus episodes like the one that just came out on the TV movie that had been out for about a week before it finally released for everyone else. And we're definitely planning to do more, mainly because I just bought a box set of 7th Doctor episodes, and I swear to God I'm going to get some fucking use out of that.
Can't wait.
But yeah, until then, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. You can find me on Twitter at WheatleyDL, and I'm also streaming on Twitch somewhat now. You can find me there on Twitch at WheatleyDLT, because I did dumb stupid shit with a different account, and now I can't change it back to my usual handle for like 6 months.
Oh god, oh fuck.
Yeah, and I usually post about like dumb shit or like funny things I find in Final Fantasy 14 or whatever.
Nice. I am Lady Thaw's desiccated corpse. You can find me on Twitter at skyhigh9_5 for all your mediocre shitposting and political needs.
Wow, you're just gonna steal my thing now? You're just gonna steal my having a funny name for yourself thing? God damn it. I'm fuming right now. This is Twitter trans girl Ted Kaczynski, and you can find me at feetdetector.com.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
Shut up. I am enraged that my bit has been stolen. God damn it.
I saw it. I took it.
Grrr. Grrr.
Get dunked on.
I can't believe you would do Twitter trans girl Ted Kaczynski like this.
I mean, I'm dead. I can't do anything to you like this.
I will say I do like actually no, okay. So at this point, so I already have a good plan for the meme announcement, for the meme post that will be the announcement post for this week's episode, but I need to get your guys' input. What fucking stupid meme song should 10 be playing on the organ?
Oh god.
The low-hanging fruit would be Megalovania. I thought of that and was like, no, that's a little bit too easy.
Let me...
Well, okay. What if, like, it's the scene plays, and then he puts its hand down, and it's, like, the first, like, synth chord of sicko mode, and then it just cuts.
Fuck. I'm trying to think what meme would be good. Ah, God. Maybe... Shit.
This is very important.
Why don't you just fucking put "Uh-oh Stinky" over it? Like, fuck it.
No. It needs to be an actual song.
Fine. You can make it a Rickroll.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might do that. That's really good. Either that or sick. I'll have to workshop it. Anyways.